Good day. My name is Kayleigh Cox and my studio number is 191555. Today I will be presenting a topic called physical and virtual manipulatives that are used in a classroom. The first question to be answering in this presentation is exactly what are manipulatives? Manipulatives are items that can be used to make the lesson more interesting for the learner and not boring, as it brings in new ideas for the learners. Manipulatives can be useful in many ways. They can be useful by allowing the learners more experience in learning 3D shapes. It can help build a learner's confidence up by allowing the learners to have first-hand experience with an item, and it makes the lesson more interesting and enjoyable. There are two types of manipulatives that a teacher can use in his or her classroom. There are physical and virtual manipulatives. The first one is physical, or another name, concrete. Physical manipulatives are items like shapes, money, abacus, and number cards that students can touch and use to help them learn maths. Virtual manipulatives are different types of websites that can help the learners learn anything with maths using a computer or a laptop. There are some similarities and differences between the two. The similarities between physical and virtual manipulatives are they both teach the learners how they can use maths in the real world, and they both allow students to experience maths in a unique way or a new way. The differences between the two are physical manipulatives can be physically held in your hands, and virtual manipulatives are something that the learners do online using a laptop or a computer. Let's look at different types of physical manipulatives that a teacher can use in his or her classroom. The first physical manipulatives that a teacher can use is a dice. A teacher can use dices by giving two to each learner and telling them to roll the dices. Once they have rolled the dices, they must write the numbers on the dice on their whiteboard and do a math sum with the numbers. They can tell the learners to either subtract, add, times, and divide. The second physical manipulative that a teacher can use in his or her classroom is paper money. A teacher can print the notes of their country, like South Africa, to show the learners how the real money looks like. They can also play a game where the teacher opens a shop and they can buy a treat from him or her. The teacher will give learners some money and ask for a certain amount from them, for example, 15 Rand. And if they add the money up correctly, they get the prize, which is a treat or something. But if they can't, they go back of the line and they try again until they can. This manipulative can teach learners how to use real money, which is useful in the real world. The last example of a physical manipulative that I'm going to be teaching is mini clocks. Mini clocks are clocks with numbers on and movable arrows that learners can move around. Learners can use these clocks to learn how to time. The teacher can ask the learners a time, and they must represent the time that the teacher asks for. This manipulative teaches the learners how to tell time correctly. Now, let's look at diverse types of virtual manipulatives. The first type of virtual manipulatives is an interactive clock. There's a website online that has a virtual clock on it. It allows learners to add or minus 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and 1 hour. This virtual manipulatives can allow learners to use this at home to learn the time too. It can help them recap on the lesson they learned at school at home. The second type of virtual manipulatives are number lines. The number line teaches learners where numbers can be found on the number line and what numbers can come before or after a number. For example, if the number is 7, the before number is 6. And if the number is still 7, the after number is 8. This can teach learners exactly how to add and minus numbers. The last virtual manipulative is place value. This website shows the place value of numbers, like where the 100s, where the tens, and units are. For example, if a learner takes the number 175, they will need to break the number up, which is 1 100, 7 tens, and 5 units. This virtual manipulative will teach learners about place value and where each number is supposed to be when asked about hundreds, tens, and units. Now, let's take a look at a classroom activity that a teacher can teach her learners or his learners using both virtual and physical manipulatives. The topic that is chosen is time, which is found under the content area 4 on page 28 and 29. This topic is suitable for grade 3 learners. The teacher wants to make sure the learners know for sure how to tell time and how to add 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and 1 hour, or decrease those numbers. The teacher also wants to make sure learners know how to tell it's quarter past, half past, quarter to, and o'clock. So, the teacher will use two types of manipulatives. She or he can use a virtual manipulative, which will be the virtual clock on the website which uses technology. The learners in a class can use this virtual clock at home to practice to make sure they can tell time. The second manipulative she or he can use is a physical manipulative, which is the paper or cardboard clock she or he has on hand. This clock can allow the learners to move the arrows to where the teacher tells them to. This allows them to practice in class to solve a worksheet.